Hey everyone, this is Jamie from Curate Customer Support and Success. First off, thank you for clicking on this video. The topic of this video, we're going to spend a few moments here going through a quick walkthrough of a standard workflow that our catering customers use to get a project added to the Curate application. Before we dig in, if you're already a curator and using our platform and you want to do a deep dive in any of the topics covered today, after you log into the application, you can click on Help and then Help Center. It's going to bring you over to this page here. We have tons of helpful videos, just like the one you're watching here, and written documentation to assist you along your way. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started. I always like to kick things off with our forms and inquiry system that we have in the Curate application, because if you think of the consultation first and foremost, you want to get all that important information up front as quickly as possible to make a determination: is this an event that I want to run through my business? And having a good strong form will do that. So this is my example form. So this is what a client would see. You can inject this on your website. You can send this link out in the form of like email, text message, through social media, you name it. You can even fully customize the forms as well. So if you want the style to match your website, we have a section for that. Also, equally as important, you can use automation in your form as well. So that's one of those deep dive items that I would highly recommend to check out the Help Center for. So as you're building out your questions, you can associate custom properties, and what that will allow the system to do. Let's say the person inputted the date of the event, the start time, the end time. That will allow that information to automatically be injected into your project as you're going through the creation process. So tons of automation here to be had. You can even introduce email templates as an automated response here. There's another way you can send an email that we'll talk about here shortly as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at a submission that was put in earlier today. So Doc Brown of Back to the Future fame, he needs some catering. So let's take a look and see what he wants. So I'm going to click into his name here. And so this is how you can view the information that they submitted over to us. So if you have a follow-up question, you can click send email. And so that's where the templates come into play. Or if you just want to send a basic email, like, hey, on this one question, you wrote ABC, but did you mean XYZ? So this will allow you to, quickly and easily communicate back out to the individual before turning this into a project. If you're ready to convert it, we have two ways of doing that. You can merge this form into a pre-existing project. So that's one that's already in the system, so to speak. Or you have the second option, which I'm going to go ahead and do now, which is convert to new project. So I'm going to select that. I do have some templates in the system. So I'm going to select this project template called Catering. I'm going to rename it. So say Doc Brown's event. There we go. And notice how pretty much everything else is, inputted that I would want to know immediately: the customer's name, the date, the start and end time. You can set a calendar color for the Curate calendar, which I do recommend if you want to keep track of different types of events. So that's one way you can utilize this color system here. Location information is already there. We have a pretty robust venue option too. So if it's a venue that you work quite frequently, you can actually add them into the database in advance and make them selectable as well. One of our add-ons is bookable spaces. So if there's like multiple locations within that venue, this will allow you to go in and say, okay, is this for space 1 or space 3? You can check that off, or maybe it's both. It's a huge event. So guest count. So as you can see, I didn't type any of this stuff in. It was already pre-selected thanks to that form. So let me go ahead and click the create button. And so what's happening now is the system is taking information from my template and it's merging it with information from the form. So I'm going to click on view project, and we already have a almost fully fleshed out project ready to go. So my company logo, the name of the events here. This is one of those tokens I was speaking of earlier. So when we go to publish this and share this back to the client, that event date will be automatically inputted. So even though we see it up here at the top left, when we go to send this over to the client, that's how they'll be able to view it. And you can change any of this information at any time. We have the pencil icons that will allow you to do some updates. So just as simple as that. So scrolling down, contact details. This is our customer's information. You can also click into that to add additional details. This is our date and locations timeline feature. So if you want to get very specific and say, hey, here's the full breakdown of the day. I have some basic information here just to give a quick visual. If it's something you're not interested in, that's where our module section comes into play on the right side. So if you want to hide a module, remove a module, or if you want to add an additional module, we have tons of options here. So if you want to do additional photos, maybe you didn't like that minimalist cover, you want to do a different cover. So tons of cool options there. We even have a document section, a text box. So if you want to include additional information later down on the page, you can do so with that. So tons of good stuff there. Highly recommend to check that out when you have a chance. But we're just going to go with what's in the template right now. So here's some basic images that I have as part of the event layout, just showing what some of the food may look like if they select the services. If you want to add any additional photos to this specific board, we can click into the pencil icon. This specific board will allow you to do up to 50 images. Not saying you have to. What some of our customers will do, they might have multiple versions of this module, and that will allow you to say, okay, here's where, like the buffet line is going to look like. This is what the seating arrangements are going to look like, etc. So you could do different image boards for different things if you want. So you can drag and drop images from your computer. You can also utilize Pinterest as well, which I'll do right now. So we have the select image box over here. I'm going to drag an image over and let her loose. We'll give it a second to upload because it's taking that image from their database, adding it to ours. And ta-da, just like that, new image. You can even move them around too, so if you want to adjust the flow of things, it's just as simple as dragging and dropping. We're actually going to close out this video with the proposal detail section, so we're going to save that for last. Let's continue down the line just to show some other items that can automatically be put in place thanks to a template. So we have the payment section, so you can go ahead and set up a payment scheduler in advance and have that as part of your template. And any additional boxes that you want to add will automatically go to the bottom, but you can move those around as well. So if you needed to say, let's upload some documents that the customer sent over to me, I can add this document section. Right now it's at the bottom, but maybe I want that to be closer towards the middle maybe. So we're going to move it up near the dates and locations area here. I'm going to select that, upload file. So I have a few things here. Maybe we need to share an image that isn't a part of the main project here. So I'm going to upload that. And you can use this to store internal things as well, which is really nice. So if you want something to be customer facing, we do have the eye icon system here. I'm actually going to do that for the second one here so that way you can see the difference between a hidden document versus one that is published and visible to your client. And there you go, just like that. So as you can see, super easy to add stuff, edit stuff, remove stuff, you name it. So moving on, let's take a look at the orders page. I'm going to click into that. So this is probably where the rest of your time is going to be spent because you want to update the orders section to display, okay, this is what this specific customer is wanting. As you can see, the template carried over lots of good stuff here. So the way I have mine set up, I have it broken out into different categories such as cocktail hour, the reception, maybe we have a dessert bar, a standard drink bar where we have like sodas, wine, beer, coffee, all that good stuff. We also have two really robust add-ons that I highly recommend to look into: staffing and rental equipment. So if you want to document like, hey, what all staff do I need to work this event? I need a head chef, I need some waiters, I need a DJ, you name it. So we have a pretty robust setup for that. And also the ability to rent equipment and keep up with the inventory as well. That's another popular add-on. So to make edits to any of these, it's just as simple as clicking into an item. So maybe I want to take a look at the soda package here. I'm going to select that. And immediately it tells me information about what this line item product is. We have the price. Notice how it mentions an SRP. We're going to come back to that in a second. You can add images to this section too that are separate from those image boards. So if you want to give a visual of what the product is going to look like, I just have something very generic there, as you can see. And then additionally, if you want to break down this to another level, it's one thing to say, okay, sodas, boom, that's a line item, but what type of sodas does this customer want? So this is a short example, like they want Coke, they want Pepsi. If I want to add an additional one, it's just as simple as clicking into the add component box, typing out Mountain Dew or whatever they want, and that will allow you to quickly and easily add it to the component section of this recipe. And the cool thing about that, this is where the SRP comes into play. So that is basically calculating the cost behind the scenes for us. So it helps us keep track and make sure, we're making money off of this thing, right? And not just, undercharging or charging at face value. So we do have the markup breakdown listed here. And so my current markup is 100% for these items here that we have listed. You can make adjustments here. So let's say it's the holiday season. Maybe it's a little bit harder to get a hold of certain things. So you can do this in a bulk matter by using the check boxes, or you can go one by one and adjust the markups as needed. So maybe, 4th of July is coming up, and this is an event that's going to be for that. I can adjust that markup to be a little bit higher. And notice how the SRP also updated. I can just simply click the apply button, and we'll notice that price will update here. And boom, there we go. So just as simple as that. And then to wrap this up, before we move on to our final section, we do have the item subtotal section. This is where you can introduce, any sort of fees that you may have. As you see here, I have what's called a delivery fee. As we're adding and removing stuff from this, I actually have a calculated property that's keeping an eye on all those items that we have as line items above, and it's automatically updating this cost here. So to look at that real fast, I'm going to click into the edit button. And so this is a calculated property, and you can tell the system, hey, this needs to be a percentage of this item, and this item, essentially, and it will keep up with that calculation for you. So as you're adding or removing items, no longer do you need to break out an Excel spreadsheet. You don't need to, get your computer calculator out to calculate those fees. The system will do it for you. And that's basically it for the project itself. When it is time to work the events, we have a couple of options for you. There's an order breakdown screen that's super popular that gives a good overview of everything that's going to be required. More importantly, that I think that gets used very heavily is our project prints. So let me set up shop there for a second. And so we have tons of different options here. Oops, I accidentally clicked away. We have tons of different options here for print types that are built into the system. And we have a checkbox system where you can create your own custom views. So if you have like one set of employees that needs to focus on XYZ and another set of employees needs to focus on ABC, you can fully customize how this breakdown is set up. So if I wanted to go into the project details, and maybe I didn't need grand total to be listed or to the project owner, as you can see, I'm starting to uncheck some of these boxes here, and the screen is automatically updating for me. And I can save this as a custom view, so that way I don't have to uncheck and recheck every single time, right? So lots of flexibility there. And then finally, you can turn this into a PDF if you want. Oops, clicked away by accident again. So I'm going to click on where it says print up here. And my default option is to save it as a PDF. So if I just want to email this out to someone, I can. Or if I want to print it on the spot, I can select my printer that I have locally on site and start printing away. And those can be used in advance of the event or, the day of to complete your project there. But that's it. That's once again, I hope this was super helpful. This is meant to just be 50,000 feet overview drive of how to get an event up and running in the form of a project using the Curate application. Definitely let us know if you have any questions using the chat bubble I pointed out earlier. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy curating.